So we spoke about my recollection of when you came out to me. What I'd be interested in is what is your recollection of that conversation and that what happened that night.
Yeah, it's interesting because for me it's a little bit different. So the bit I definitely remember was when you laughed, and because I was nervous, right? So you got to remember, for me, I was just like, it was such a big thing. This was the first person in my whole family that was going to find out. That was scary, because then after that point, there's no going back. Do you know what I mean? Pandora's box is open, kind of thing. You now know. So I remember I'd been in India for a whole year at that point. I'd come back because I'd gone volunteering and doing all that like charity work. That day that I came back, I was in my head, I was just like, I'm going to give it 1 week, and in that week I'm going to tell my family. However they react, they react. In fact, I don't know if you knew this, but I had my bag packed, my suitcase packed. I never unpacked it.
Oh, wow.
I had my passport still in there, because if you guys were like, it went really pear-shaped, and you, for whatever reason, you were throwing me out of the house. Because that's all I'd heard of. You got to remember, the stories I'd heard of was like parents were kicking their kids out of home. Disowning. I'd even heard, unfortunately, of honour killings as well. You know, in our community, sometimes, people get killed just for going with a guy or a girl of a different caste, kind of thing. That was around.
That was a big thing.
Yeah.
In the 80s and stuff, right? So 90s, I grew up with that. So then sexuality, oh my God. So I genuinely had no ideas. So I left my suitcase there ready, just in case. So I was nervous. So for me, I think I remember the experience really well. So what you said was total rubbish. No, it wasn't. But so I remember coming into the room, and it was a small bedroom that we had, and you were sitting on the bed.
Box room,
Yeah. And I just sat down, and because we hadn't spent time together, we were just talking. And so I was building myself up, and I was just like, Janice, I got something to say to you. And you were like, oh, what? And I was just like, oh, I don't want to get married to a girl. And like, okay, cool. Because we'd kind of spoken about that earlier over the dinner table with mum and dad. And then I was like,
did you?
Yeah. So mum was like, right, you're 26 years old. We need to start looking at getting you married, kind of thing. That conversation. Yeah, exactly. Standard, exactly. 98, late 2000s, isn't it? Early 2000s. So, and I was like, mum, dad, I don't want to get married. And I just left it as that. There was no coming out at that point. So that conversation had already been done. So when I spoke to you, it was easier to say I wasn't getting married to a girl. Me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I'm gay. And then you laughed, and then that made me nervous, because I was just like, was that laughter of what? Yeah. I genuinely had no ideas.